The first of many great things we must learn from Thérèse is to allow ourselves to be little. Thérèse empowers us to be little. For her, being little came easy. As the youngest of 5 sisters, the baby of the family, she grew up as the little one. She discovered, however, that this littleness was an incredible benefit to her in the spiritual life. She wrote this about her little way.
It means that we acknowledge our nothingness, that we expect everything from the good Lord, as a child expects everything from its father. It means to worry about nothing, not to build upon fortune. It means to remain little, seeking only to gather flowers, the flowers of sacrifice, and to offer them to the good Lord for His pleasure. It also means not to attribute to ourselves the virtues we practice, not to believe that we are capable of anything, but to acknowledge that it is the good Lord who has placed that treasure in the hand of His little child, that He may use it when He needs it, but it remains always God's own treasure. Finally, it means that we must not be discouraged by our faults, for children fall frequently.
For Thérèse, the littler she became, the more she could rely on God, the more she could expect God's kindness and mercy, and the more she could please God by offering up little flowers. Conversely, by having the attitude of being big, we rely more on ourselves. We expect more of God's condemnation for our failures, and we think we must do extraordinary things to please God. In your own relationship with God, which one do you feel more like? Feel free to post your response in the forum below. Thérèse connected this littleness with one of her favorite virtues, humility. About humility, she writes,
If I am humble, I am entitled, without offending the good Lord, to do small foolish things until I die. Look at little children. They constantly break things, tear them up, fall, and all the while, in spite of that, they love their parents very much. Well, when I fall in this way, like a child, it makes me realize my nothingness and my weakness all the better. And I say to myself, what would become of me? What would I be able to accomplish if I were to rely on my own powers alone?
in ministry, we're often faced with challenges that are far beyond our own immediate capabilities. Do we not feel obligated to do so much, and at times feel expected to pull off the miraculous? Think for a few seconds about this. How much do you expect yourself to accomplish? Here's the forum question. Do you approach your ministry like a big person, capable of handling it with your own strength? How can you approach it more like a little child? For the last part of this reflection, I want to leave you with the story of Thérèse, written by her sister Celine.
In a discouraged mood, I went one day to Thérèse for help and told her, "This time it is impossible. I simply cannot rise above this trial." "This does not surprise me," she replied, "for we are too small to rise above our difficulties. Therefore, let us try to pass under them." To illustrate this point, she recalled a childhood experience we had shared together. We were visiting the Leu family in Alençon and wanted to play in the garden, but we could not get in because a horse blocked the entrance. While the older girls were trying to find some way to pass the horse, Thérèse said, our little playmate Thérèse Leu discovered that the easiest way to get by was to go under the horse. She slipped through first, holding my hand. I followed, pushing her a little as we went along. We were both so small that we scarcely had to bend at all in order to go under the horse, and we were in the garden in a short time. That is the advantage of staying small. There are no obstacles for little ones. They can slip in unnoticed everywhere.
Friends, what obstacles are blocking you in your ministry? Is there a way that you can go under any of these obstacles by becoming littler, lowering yourself, humbling yourself? Please share. I think we should be able to collect some interesting stories in this forum. To access the forums, scroll down on the page and click on the one titled Spiritual Childhood. Feel free to write about any of the 3 questions listed below, or about something else that you'd like to share or discuss. When you're ready to move on, click the button on the right to continue to the next reflection. Thank you, and God bless.